Hey guys! So in today's video I thought it would be fun to talk about my list of favorite songs that I have. And so I'm just going to talk about the songs that I have, and I'm pretty sure there's like a little story for each one on like when they became my favorite song and like why. So we are just going to go over that. I'm very tired today. I think it's just because it's rainy and stuff outside, and I always have low energy on days like that. So we are just doing simple videos today. So yeah, let's get started. So I believe the only ones that are in a distinct order are my top 3 or 4. The rest, I'm gonna go like not least favorite to favorite, because obviously like it's a list of my favorite songs, so I love all of them, but I'm gonna go like from the bottom of the list to the top. So the bottom ones are not necessarily in any order. I might be able to put them in some order if I tried, but I don't really think that I could do that. But yeah, so I will let you know like when they start getting like placed, so yeah. So the first one that I'm going to be talking about is by Marina and the Diamonds, and it is I Am Not a Robot. And I remember when this song came out, I listened to independent radio, and it came on there, and I had liked it. I definitely liked it. It wasn't necessarily like my favorite song back then, but I really, really, really liked it a lot. And I remember, I think it came out in like 2006 maybe, somewhere around that time. And then in 2016, 10 years later, that summer, I heard it on the radio for like the first time since, and I realized just like how much I liked it, or like still liked it, and I liked it even more than I had in the, like when I first discovered it, when it first came out. And so, that night I like watched the music video and I would listen to it like over and over and over again, and I just realized how much I loved it and how it was such a good song. And the music video was great. She's amazing in the video. She looks gorgeous. And so yeah, that's when it made it onto the list of favorite songs. And a little bit of background for this list too is I created it in 2015 when I decided, well, first of all, I wanted a playlist of songs that I could just turn on and like fall asleep to, and so that's when I finally decided to like compile all of my favorite songs, and that is how this was born, and that song made it onto the list in the summer of 2016. The next one is by Linkin Park, and it is Leave Out All the Rest. This song, it was on the Twilight soundtrack, and I remember I didn't know what it was. I didn't know who it was by, but I've loved Linkin Park my entire life, and ironically, it was the only one on the soundtrack that I liked, the only song, because I was not a Twilight person. I was not a fan of it at all, but this was the one song that I liked, and then I discovered it was by them, and I just realized how much I loved it, and that is why it made it onto the list. Next, we have Still Into You by Paramore. So I've been a fan of Paramore for a while now, and I don't quite remember when this song made it onto the list. I believe it was one of the original ones that was on the list, and it's just one of those songs that always, it never gets old to me, you know? I hear it and it still makes me happy. I still love it. So that's why that one is on the list. Next we have Colorful by Panic at the Disco. So I think this made it on my senior year. So same year that I made the list, but it wasn't one of the originals. It was after that. And I remember when I was listening to Pandora Radio, because I love Pandora, And this song came on and I was like, wow, I haven't heard this one on the album. It's like really, really good. I really like this one. But I forgot the name. And then one day I listened to the album over and I was like, okay, we're gonna find it. And I was like, this one is it. And again, it's just a song that never got old. And the lyrics really are just, they're really good and they resonate. So I put that one on the list and it is still a strong contender today. I very rarely take songs off of this list. Sometimes I'll put in songs that are like my favorite song at the moment and ones that I do love, but like ultimately they don't stay on the list forever. So I do have a few more than what is on this list that are songs that I really, really, really love, but not necessarily my all-time favorites. Next we have Bravado by Lorde. So this is one that I first heard my February vacation of my senior year of high school, and I remember I had just finished watching Emma Black replay Life is Strange, and I listened to this the next day. It came on Pandora, and I don't really know what it was about it. It just, again, it like resonated with me, and it's just a really good song, and it's really pretty, and I really, really like Lorde. She's so talented. Yeah, it's just stuck around. It's a very good song, and I like it a lot. Next is another one by Linkin Park, and it is Waiting for the End. This song, the lyrics resonate with me more than anything about the song. The music is absolutely beautiful, and I love it, but it's the lyrics that are just so good. And I believe I also added this one my senior year. I remember I heard it when my mom was playing the album on the radio, and I went upstairs and I played it and I was like, wow, this is amazing, I'm gonna add it to the list. And generally, like, when I thought one was my favorite, was gonna be like one of my favorite songs, I would add it to the list and then just see if I wanted it to stay, you know, listen to the list. If I skip a song, that's kind of how I know that it's like probably not gonna stay on the list, because I never want to skip my favorite songs. These are the songs that I like wouldn't skip when I had my entire iPod on shuffle. And yeah, I know I take my favorite songs very seriously, so yeah. But the next one is The Chain by Ingrid Michaelson. So I first heard this song when we did it for my women's choir my senior year, and I just have so many memories associated with singing this song with my women's choir and how much fun we had, and the lyrics are just so nice, and we had so much fun with the song, and it's just so pretty, and it's simple, and it's fun to play on piano and just sing to, and I just have so many memories attached to it because that year was so memorable, and that group of people that I was with to sing it with were just amazing, and it was just really good, and anytime I listen to it, it just makes me feel like nostalgia, and it just takes me back to when we did it. So yeah. Next is I'll Be There by Hollywood Undead. So I first heard the song when my best friend and I were talking about our favorite songs, and he told me that this was pretty much his all-time favorite song, and I listened to it, and I really liked it, and I don't know, it's my best friend's favorite song, so obviously it has like some meaning to me because he's my best friend, and so I just kind of added it because I don't see my best friend very often, so I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of my best friend, and it's a really, really good song either way. Like, it's just like, I don't know, the words are really, really nice and like very comforting, and the music is really good. It's super simple, but I mean, you guys can probably tell I like simple, like I love complex music, and I can like appreciate it so much, but when it comes to my favorite songs, generally they are quite simple, as you can tell. Like, it's very conjunct motion, kind of almost static, but not quite, not all the way there. But yeah, I like simple, and it's just beautiful. I think it's beautiful. It makes me happy, and I love it. Next is Crazy for You by Scars on 45. So I first heard the song the summer of 2014. I was outside with my tiny little blue waterproof camera filming the sky, and this song came on, and wait, no, I don't think it was that camera. I think it might have been my iPod Touch. It was one of those two. And the song came on, and I remember just filming the song, like filming the sky, and the song was in the background, and it was windy, and it just created such a perfect, like, I don't know, feeling, because the song is very whimsical feeling, and it's just very, like, I don't know, it gives you that feeling. And that summer was also a very good summer for me, and I don't know, it made me feel like really good. And a lot of the times I know it's going to be a favorite song of mine because of the first impression that it leaves on me. Generally, like, I feel something right away for the song, and that's how it was with this one, and it has been my favorite song for a while now, and judging by how long it's been on there and how it still makes me feel, I believe that it will be on this list forever. How about we do, like, oh my gosh, that'll be so fun. So in like 10 years, we're gonna make this video again, and I can almost guarantee you that all the ones that I'm talking about right now will still be on the list. We'll see if anything else is added. I don't know, probably. And another, like, trend is that a lot of them are songs that I heard when I was younger and have heard for a while, but then, like, maybe there was a gap between me hearing it for a while, and then all of a sudden I just, like, fall in love with it again and realize, like, how much I love it. So yeah, that's another, like, trend. So the next one is This Is Gospel by Panic! At the Disco. And this song, I remember I first heard it, I believe summer of 2014 also, or no, I think it was summer of 2015, maybe. I believe it was over the summer. But I heard it, and I loved it. It was when I was first getting into Panic! At the Disco, and then I found the piano version, and I just thought it was so beautiful, and I wanted to learn to play it. So that was one of the first songs that I learned, like, first, like, pop songs, not classical piano, but, like, actual, like, songs that I learned on the piano. And I remember it was just so fun to play and sing to, and the words still resonate, of course, and I just think musically it's very, I don't know, beautiful. I use that word a lot, but in order for me to call something beautiful, like, it really has to be good, so, like, that word holds a lot of weight for me, so I do just think that it is beautiful. Next we have Here in Your Arms by Hello Goodbye, and this song is a song that I heard in a YouTube video as part of, like, a music mashup in the background of, like, someone's DIY video or something. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about when people do that. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then, like, a few months, maybe a year later, it came onto Pandora, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've heard this song in a YouTube video before. I have no idea which one or, like, when, anything like that. Fairly certain it was a DIY, but I, like, really, really love this song. And it reminds me of one of my favorite books, which is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. And so on top of just sounding nice to me, it holds that little memory, and, like, its words are just really sweet and nice, and again, simple, but still beautiful. Next is No Shows by Gerard Way. So, as all of you probably know by now, My Chemical Romance is my favorite band. It will always be my favorite band. And Gerard Way is one of my favorite people and one of the most admirable people in my eyes. So, I remember this was August 2015, I believe, and I was in my kitchen with my headphones in, with my iPod. We were getting ready to take our annual trip to a farm to go pet baby animals like we always do, and it's amazing. And It's about an hour out, so I always listen to music because I have to have music for long car rides or bus rides or any kind of ride. And I remember this song came on while I was standing in the kitchen, and I just thought it was amazing, even though I had no clue what words he was saying. It just, the melody and like the music just made me feel like so, I don't know, but like, you know that feeling when you like a song and it just like, I don't know, it's weird. But it made me feel that way, and so I was like, hey, maybe we'll put this on the list because it's Gerard Way, so he automatically gets, you know, points for being Gerard Way. And so I put it on the list, and it is still here, so that's good. Next is Hurry Hurry by Air Traffic Controller. So this song, I remember that Air Traffic Controller had a song on the radio. I believe this was beginning of my junior year. I don't remember what song it was, but I remember a few months later in the spring, I heard Hurry Hurry on the radio, and I was like, oh, it's Air Traffic Controller, cool. And it was just really good. It's a really interesting song. And I remember I was reading Eleanor and Park in that time of my life, and I remember I heard this song again on like the following September on Labor Day weekend when we were headed up to near where the ocean is and stuff like that. I just don't feel comfortable saying the city, so I just had to like stop myself and say ocean instead. So East Coast, yay! And so I remember I heard it again on the radio, and it just became one of my favorite songs because it's just really pretty, and I like it a lot. I don't know what else to say, I just like it. And then we have the song Nothing by The Script. I first heard this song when it came out. I believe I was in 7th grade, and The Script has always been one of my favorite bands. This was one of my favorite songs before I even compiled this list. It's been one of my favorite songs since I discovered it, and I remember I just loved it when it came on the radio. It just sounded so beautiful, and it's so sad, but it's just so beautiful, and I loved listening to it. And I remember my best friend, when I told him it was my favorite song, he learned it on piano, and he sent it to me through email, because of course middle school, we didn't text, we were still email and all that stuff. So he sent it to me through email, and I don't know, it's just a really good song. And another thing too, whenever I hear my favorite songs on the radio, it's like a magical moment for me. Very few of these songs don't play on the radio often at all, but when they do, it's like a magical moment, and it just makes me so happy. So next is Sugar We're Going Down by Fall Out Boy. I want to say this is one of the oldest on the list. I remember I've heard this song for as long as I can remember. I never knew who it was by. I never knew what words they were saying, although now that I know that it's Fall Out Boy, I don't really feel bad about not knowing the words that they're saying, because sometimes you just don't know with them. But I remember being a Fall Out Boy fan in 6th grade, and then I remember finding out that this song was by Fall Out Boy because I was sitting in the car with my grandma ready to leave horseback riding, and she had one of those cars that says who the song is by. And I remember this one came on, and I was so happy, and then I saw that it was by Fall Out Boy, and I was like, what do you know, that always happens when you when you like a song, and you have no idea who it's by, and then you find out that it's by one of your favorite bands. And I think that was my sophomore year, because I remember telling one of my friends about it at lunch. And yeah, it's just funny how that can happen. You like a song so much, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know who this is by, but this is amazing. And then you find out it's by someone that you've loved forever, and you're like, no wonder I liked it, and like a totally like unbiased opinion too, because you didn't even know that it was by them and yet you still liked it. So yeah, that happens sometimes. Next is Chocolate by the 1975. This song became my favorite song my sophomore year when it came out, and I remember for some reason I just associated it with my sophomore year geometry class, because even though geometry was not a good time, the class was great and everyone in that class was awesome and hilarious and we were all friends. And sometimes a song that's stuck in my head will like narrate the situation that I'm in. So it was stuck in my head because they played it a lot when it first came out on my radio station, and so it just kind of reminds me of this time. Kind of like how Hurry Hurry, it was stuck in my head when I was reading Eleanor and Park, so I remember it from then and all that stuff. So yeah, that's why that song holds a lot of meaning to me. Next we have Step by Vampire Weekend. So let's see. I first heard this song, I believe it was summer of 2015, my time, and I just thought it was so pretty and like whimsical and magical sounding, and I remember I just loved it, and I didn't know who it was by or anything. I believe this was one of the songs that I typed lyrics into Google to find out what it was and who it was by, and I found out, and it made it onto the list. Of course, it was one of the original ones because it became a favorite song of mine before I even made the list, so yes. And I remember that summer when I went to get my wisdom teeth out on July 31st, y'all are probably thinking I'm crazy for like how I remember literally everything. I remember times, dates, situations so well. Like, sometimes I'll forget, like, I don't know, sometimes I'll forget like really dumb things, yet I remember the date and time that I like dropped a pencil when I was 6, whatever, like, obviously not that much, but like, you know what I mean, like I remember dates, times, reasons, everything like that super well. Unless we're in like history class, then just forget it, I won't remember any dates. I remember things that happened to me, I remember all of them. If I've had a conversation with you, I probably remember it. Anything that is significant to me, I remember the date. I just do. I don't know why. I remember the dates, month, year. Year is not very difficult to remember, but like, I just remember situations really easily. I don't know why, but back to the songs. So I remember I was going to get my wisdom teeth out, and I was hoping this song would come on again because I had heard it just a few days before, but it didn't. But I still thought about it while I got my wisdom teeth out so that it would calm me down, because it's a very nice and calming song. Alright, next we have Phantom Limb by The Shins. This is the most recent addition, however it is quite possibly the oldest, second oldest. It is the second oldest of the songs on this list. For me, at least. I remember hearing this song when it came out. It just sounded like summer to me. It came out over the summer. Well, it didn't come out over the summer. I believe it came out in either January or February. And one summer they just played it a ton. It reminded my mom and I of summer whenever we hear it. And it was just so pretty, and I always loved it. And I was just thinking recently how I hadn't heard it in a long time, but then I heard it again, and I was so happy to hear it because it's so beautiful, and I was like, this is actually an interesting song. I like it more than I thought I did. And it is extremely hard to tell the lyrics. There are still debates over what the lyrics are. Even though they've like released the lyrics, people still like mess them up sometimes, which is okay. It happens. But I caught just a couple lyrics, and I looked it up on Google, and I found out what it was, and it got added to the list. And then after it became one of my favorite songs, I remember hearing it on the radio on my drive home from school once and just being like so happy because I hadn't heard it in so long. And yeah, so that's funny. And as you know, I've learned it on piano, and I've been making my own cover of it. So far I have the chords and stuff, and I'm going to try and make it a little more interesting. So next we have Endlessly by The Cab. Let's see, I first heard this, This is kind of strange that I don't remember this one, but I believe it was playing in the background of a video that I was watching, and people said the video, like people said the name of the song in the comments, and then I went and I looked it up, and I saw the video and stuff, and it was just a really, really good song. Either that or I heard it on Pandora. That's so strange that I can't remember. Because this is one of the originals and one of the top ones too. So that is odd. But anyway, that is kind of a story for that one. And then number 3, we're down to our last 3, is I Miss You by Blink-182. So this song, I remember first hearing about it when in chorus my freshman or sophomore year, we had to sing for our final, and my friends sang this song, and I was like, that's kind of cool, I like that song. And oh, hold on, Endlessly, I think someone might have sang it for a song for that as well, but that's just a maybe. I don't quite remember. Back to Blink-182, so I heard it then, and then I heard it on Pandora, and I looked it up, listened to it, all that kind of stuff, and I liked it a lot, and I put it on the list, and then all of the lyrics just resonated with me so much. I love the chorus, and I love the Nightmare Before Christmas reference, and I remember on one of our annual family day trips when I had my headphones in, this song was on, and we were going through a really sunny forest in the car, and I had this hand sanitizer that smells like apples, and it was just such a great moment. And I remember the moment when I really realized how much I love this song was when I got my wisdom teeth out. I was sitting on the couch, back when our couch was over there. It was not that couch, it was a big red couch. It was over there, and I was sitting, and I made a lyric text post for that song, and I put it up, and my friends were like, oh my gosh, I love that song. I have one friend on Instagram who she knows every single song that I like, and she always comments the rest of the lyrics. She always knows the lyrics when no one else does, and so I remember she said how much she liked the song, and yeah, I just like that song a lot. One of my favorites, and it has good memories attached. Number 2 and number 1, honestly, I might just have to say that they're a tie. It used to be a definitive 1 and a definitive 2, but I always just call them my favorite songs. I love them, and so we're just gonna go 2 and then 1 now. So these songs will be no surprise to anyone. Number 2, Mr. Brightside by The Killers. Never would have guessed that, huh? I'm so obsessed with this song that I literally have a tracker where I tally off how many times I hear the song throughout the year on the radio. And I heard it for the first time in 2018 yesterday, and I marked it in my bullet journal. And I know you're gonna say that I am absolutely nuts for doing that, but I literally just love this song. I did not think it was possible to be attracted to a song this way. I just love it so much. And I don't want to sound crazy, but anyone who knows me can tell you my obsession with this song. I love it so much. And backstory. So I've been hearing it since it came out, of course. The Killers is one of my very, very, very top favorite bands, as are mostly all of the ones in this list, but The Killers is my second favorite behind My Chemical Romance. And so when this song came out, I loved it. They played it a lot, but now I would say it's one of their less played songs on the radio station I listen to. The radio station I listen to plays Somebody Told Me more than anything, and they do a good variety of the Killers songs, but Mr. Brightside just gets played a little bit less. But I remember I was thinking about how I hadn't heard it in a very long time, and I was in my room, summer of 2015, of course, and I was watching Dan and Phil compilation videos of like moments, and there was one that had Mr. Brightside playing in the background, and I was like, hey, it's that song that I've loved for literally ever. And I remember that moment just like realizing just how much I love that song, just like, hey, I know that I already had an attachment to that song because of how long I've known it, but I just realized in that moment just like how much I love it, and thus it became one of my favorite songs. And then from that moment on, I became aware of every time I heard it on the radio because I knew I hadn't heard it in such a long time. And then in 2017, I finally started to like track it just for fun to see how many times I would hear it on the radio. And you know how many times I heard it? 23, my favorite number. This playlist usually has 23 songs in it. It doesn't yet, so it has 22 right now because I took one out. Pierce the Veil's Bulletproof Love used to be on this playlist, and it was on it for so long, and I feel bad that I took it out, but for some reason I've just started skipping it, and I realized that I didn't really have any attachment to the song, and so I took it out. But that is why it is down to 22 now, but 23 is my favorite number. And yeah, so I've just been aware of every time I heard it. The lyrics resonate with me. If I get a tattoo, it is going to be Mr. Brightside in cursive underneath my rib, and I just love it. I have like, why don't I do a video talking about the tattoo ideas that I would like to get? I don't really know if I will ever actually get these tattoos, just because even though I feel like I'm good at like committing, I'm just afraid that I would not want them after a while, even though I can't really see that happening. It's more of just a, precaution thing. But yeah, so that is my story with that song. And then we have my most favorite song, my number one. It has been my number one favorite song since I first heard it, and it is The World Is Ugly by My Chemical Romance. This song, the first time, well, first of all, my mom liked My Chemical Romance before I did, and she told me that I should listen to them because they're just fun and great to listen to, and this was in 2014, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll listen to them. So I typed in My Chemical Romance lyrics on YouTube, and this was the first song that came up, and I played it, and I was like, this is literally beautiful. This is not at all what I expected My Chemical Romance to be. And from that moment on, I was like, this song is beautiful. Like, this could quite possibly be like my favorite song that I've ever heard. The lyrics are beautiful. It is so comforting and just nice. And so it just became my favorite song. And that is the song that got me into My Chemical Romance. This was like, yeah, February of 2014 was when I discovered this song. And then that summer of 2014, when I discovered My Chemical Romance, is when I first started listening to Danger Days, and then I discovered their other songs, and that's when I had the obsession. But The World Is Ugly has forever been my favorite song since then. Nothing is gonna beat that out. It just will always hold that place. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So I know this video was long, and I'm sorry, but I love talking about songs and my favorite songs. It is kind of frustrating though how I can't necessarily describe the feelings that these songs give me. I wish that I could. All I can say is that they're beautiful, and I hope you listen to them, and I hope that even if it's not these songs, that you are able to make a list of songs that you love, that you can listen to when you're not feeling yourself, and it just makes you remember all of your favorite things. And yeah, I love these songs. I listen to them before I fall asleep sometimes, and they just calm me down. I love them. And I'm glad that I have found music that I enjoy listening to that makes me happy and makes me feel like myself. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And I would love to do more song themed videos because I have a lot of like lists of songs that have to do with like times in my life. So I could do like songs from 8th grade, songs from high school, songs from, I don't know, like just like categories of songs that I love and talk about them. So if you guys want to see that, I am down for doing it. I love talking about music. Whenever I meet a new person, music's like the first thing that we talk about. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what else you would like to see. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already.